NFL Seeing the Futures, taking an early look at wide receiver receiving totals for the upcoming 2021 campaign. Let's start with a guy who has, or was impacted rather, by maybe the biggest news of the offseason. So A.J. Brown recruiting Julio Jones to Tennessee, but will he be regretting it when it comes to his production? How do you feel about A.J. Brown's receiving yards total, Kenny, of 1175 and a half?
I thought you were going to say the biggest news of the offseason regarding this question was Corey Davis signing with the New York Jets. I do think that A.J. Brown can go over this total, and I think it's the only over I'm going to take in the whole segment, so I'm going to make it good. Yeah, look, Johnny Smith is gone. Corey Davis is gone. So what you really still have, even though Julio Jones is like a big name and a scary name really when you're talking about this over, is, there's one fewer mouth to feed on this offense. I mean, Anthony Firkser is not going to be a big factor here. So I do think that A.J. Brown can continue to have success. He's got back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons now, an extra game rather, to get him over this total. And I think that A.J. Brown, Julio Jones might take a little bit longer to get acclimated in this offense. I think we could see a situation like a Le'Veon Bell on the Jets situation where, maybe in his new home, he's a little older, maybe you see him used kind of sparingly. Maybe he's not himself. This is just not a really like high-powered passing offense. But the one thing A.J. Brown did really well last year is yards after the catch, just most like all the other receivers. So I do think that he possesses more upside in that category. And I do think that he can continue to be the go-to guy here for Ryan Tannehill.
How do you feel about this one, Geoff?
I mean, I was so ready for Kenny to take the under here and just jump all over him. But no, he made good points. Well done, friend. But no, look, you don't take the under on A.J. Brown props. You just don't do it. This is such an explosive young player. And you just look back at his track record in the NFL. I mean, his rookie year, 16 games, but like over his first 6 games of his rookie season, he didn't get more than 5 targets, and he still put up 1,050 yards. Last year is on track to destroy this number, to destroy this over. And he only played 14 games, but he would have gone over if he had played 16. Now you've got the 17-game schedule. People worried about Julio Jones stealing targets. Kenny's right. He's going to take time to acclimatize. And quite frankly, I just don't think that he's going to be the alpha in this offense at all. A.J. Brown is still the alpha. His yards per reception is elite. He's an elite player. He's got those knees cleaned up. No, I think it's still going to be a very big year, and I'll take the over here for sure.
Well, let's go to the flip side of this coin, the flip side of that trade. Atlanta's Calvin Ridley should see more looks now that Jones is out of there, and odds makers agree. His receiving yards total is one of the highest on the DK Sportsbook at 1350 and a half. Is he going to get there though, Geoff? That's the question I'm asking you.
I mean, like he's probably going to get there. I just don't want to bet the over though. I mean, this is a really, really big total. You've got Calvin Ridley, who's a bit of a skinnier guy too. He has had trouble at times, second year, missed some games, missed a game last year. That's really the only worry here. The targets are probably going to be there for Calvin Ridley. He had 143 through 15 games last year. And again, Julio Jones missed a lot of time. Julio not there. Kyle Pitts will definitely pick up a lot of those targets. I think that if Calvin Ridley is on the field for 16 games this year, gets there, I'm just not really sure that I want to take a shot. Atlanta is also a team that I could see being really bad with just like one injury. They're not a deep team. Maybe Matt Ryan gets banged up or something, or Ridley gets banged up himself. I'm just going to stay off this one. I think that, if you have Ridley pegged and you like him for 16, 17 games, probably going to hit the over for you here, but I'm just not on this one at all.
All right. You on this one, Kenny?
Yeah, I am. Why not? I think Calvin Ridley is going to lead the league in receiving this year. I really do. I think that there's no one else there to really make a big impact. I'm not scared of Russell Gage. I'm certainly not scared of Kyle Pitts, at least not yet. And this guy had almost 92 yards per game last year. So Geoff makes some good points here. Obviously injuries are a concern. He's missed time in the last 2 seasons. But I do think that this is going to be another good season for Matt Ryan. We know what the Falcons do. They're still trying to contend. I mean, that's why they took a tight end with the 3rd pick. The universe-loving 3rd pick. Are you serious? They took a tight end with the 3rd pick. So they're going to keep trying to throw the ball. They're going to keep trying to score points. They're hell-bent on winning games this year, and that means that they're going to throw the ball a lot to Calvin Ridley. I think he's going to get a lot of yards here. I think this is a good deal on Calvin Ridley. I think his prop could be a little bit higher next year.
Kenny, Odell Beckham Jr. has been in the news a lot lately because the Browns are reportedly amazed with his recovery from that torn ACL he suffered last season. The sportsbook Not too amazed given that we have an extra game this year and his total doesn't even crack 1,000 yards. His receiving yard total set at 925.5. Anyone taking the over here? Could that be you?
Yeah, so Jarvis Landry said that Odell Beckham could be even better than he was last year. Now, Emerson, what does that mean when someone says someone's going to be even better? What does that mean they were last year?
It means that they're going to be even better than last year.
Right, so that means that they were good last year, right?
The ceiling is
he
the
was
roof.
bad.
Yeah.
He was bad last year, and he's been bad ever since he left the Giants. A 53.5% catch rate last year, 55.6% the year before. He is barely catching over half the targets that he gets from Baker Mayfield. This guy, it has nothing to do with injury, has nothing to do with how he is off the field or his attitude, whatever. He's just not catching the football right now. And it could be a combination of Baker Mayfield being bad, and this guy really struggled to go over 200 yards a game last year until the very end of the season. It could be the fact that Odell Beckham's out of sync with him. I'm not sure what the deal is, but his fit in Cleveland is not very good. It could be also the fact that they run the ball. There's a lot of mouths to feed on offense. But I do not think that he's going to go over here. Look, obviously the injuries are a big concern, but the bigger concern for me is that he's just been bad this year. I mean, the last 2 years, he's been really bad. So it's going to take a lot for me to get excited about Odell Beckham overs. I think that I'm going to continue to take the under until this guy retires. He has not been good since 2016. I mean, come on, get real. This guy had 45.6 yards per game last year.
Easy under in your eyes, Geoff?
No, not at all. I'm buying the dip here. I'm taking the over for sure. Look, I mean, this is a ridiculously low total. I mean, Odell Beckham with the Freddie Kitchens, you just completely lost season for Cleveland. He still put up over 1,000 yards. I mean, this is the player who, if he's on the field, he's definitely going to have a shot at this. And I know the Browns want to run the ball, but you look at Kevin Stefanski's offense from Minnesota as well. I mean, Steph Diggs went over 1,100 yards there. Stefanski is very good at scheming wide receivers open. And when it comes down to it, this is a make or break season for Odell Beckham. Like, at the very least, he's got to stay on the field and show some semblance of A, he's still got some of that explosiveness, and B, he can be like a decent teammate. So 925, this is a player who's gone over 1,000 yards in 5 of 7 seasons. If he can just stay on the field for 16 games, I'm pretty sure he's going to go over this. This is a really, really low prop. And maybe I'm just getting suckered in, but I'll get suckered in with at least a very good number to take the over here.
You are a sucker. That is for sure,
true.
dude.
Yes.
Let's see if you're a sucker on this one. A guy who was on a new team, Kenny Golladay, joining the Giants as a free agent this offseason. Some would say he gets a downgrade at the quarterback position, going from Matthew Stafford to Daniel Jones. His receiving yards total set right at 1,500. Is he going to go over or under that one, Geoff?
Well, I know Kenny and I are agreeing on this. And yeah, it's a downgrade. It's a downgrade to Daniel Jones. Look, I'm taking the under here. I'm not trusting anything to do with the New York Giants or Daniel Jones. You look at the New York Giants wide receivers last year, Daniel Jones had so much trouble getting them the ball. Darius Slayton coming off a nice rookie year, didn't even crack 100 targets. His yards went down. Everything went down. Nobody on the Giants wide receiver core had over 100 targets. And look, yeah, Golden Tate is gone, but he only had about 52, 54 targets. How many targets is Kenny Golladay even going to get in this offense? And then you've got Saquon Barkley coming back as well. Jason Garrett and Joe Judge are just going to try and give him the ball just so they don't have to see Daniel Jones fumble 4 times a game. So I like Golladay. He's also had trouble staying on the field, though. There's no way I'm taking the over on this one. This is an under all the way for me.
Stafford to Daniel Jones, that's that big of a downgrade, Kenny?
Yeah, it is. And look, you want to go back the 2 years that Daniel Jones has quarterbacked the Giants. How many times has a receiver had over 750 yards? That'd be 0 times. This team is just adverse to having good receivers, it seems. Darius Slayton's a really good wide receiver, and they just can't put the ball in his hands. Daniel Jones' deep ball accuracy is really that spotty. He makes like one good throw every 4 games. People replay it. They put it on Twitter. They go Danny Dimes, but he throws like 6 times a year. That's the thing about him. He only has 60 cents, Daniel Jones. So I do think that this is not a good spot to take the over on Kenny Golladay, especially considering there are still a lot of receivers on that team to get the ball. They're going to run the ball a lot as well with Saquon Barkley. We've talked about this Giants offense before on the show. So yeah, I don't have to spend much more time talking about this. Geoff hit all the points. It's a big under.